Morning, we'll start in a few minutes. Hey, Ranjit.
Hey Paul, how are you doing?
Very good. It's Maeve that's coming in, and Tony. I was talking to Tony a couple of minutes ago. He'll probably be back in a minute. And I'll be recording everything for anybody who's in here. Type of Get my daughter's playlist music as the background. So I can apologize for the words in the songs before we even start.
Actually, I think it's cancelled. The background music is cancelled, and I can perfectly hear your voice. That's it.
Can you hear the music?
No, I'm unable to.
Uh, might be settings, don't worry. There's Tony back in, sorting his thing out, and we'll start in a few more minutes. I'll wait for a few more. I broadcast this to as many people as possible, and it's recorded for everybody who's here anyway. And we'll just start it in probably 5 more minutes. As I was saying to Tony earlier, this is something I've held off on for quite a while. And if anybody's watching a recording, I I didn't want to do this until I tested a few more things out. Um, what I've noticed in this industry is a lot of people have a lot of opinions, and there's many times the information is not correct. I'd struggle. I'd go to a blog and I'd look at this blog and I go, this was compatible 10 years ago, but it's not compatible now. Um, you there, Tony? Um, so all the stuff that I'm going to go through today is very brand new, and I'm going to be a little bit controversial in places because even people in my own industry won't agree with some of the things that I'm saying. But it's what I've been testing out. It's what I've been in the trenches working on. Um, and there's a definite change in this process rather than um, what I've seen others do, and I also see how Google is reacting to. And that's what I've been testing over the last month. I've still got a couple of tests still running, which I haven't had the results of yet, but I'll walk through those in 2 more minutes. We'll start. We'll get because it's not fair for the people that are here on time for those that haven't turned up, but that's okay. They'll pick up the recording later. This is more for the people that are in the group already, have seen what I've already posted in the past, and will go and have seen some value in it. So I always, these are always lessons for me. I always do it from the point of view that I am testing things out. I am trying things out. I wish I had a magic wand and I knew exactly what Google wants. No one does, even though every agency sort of claims to. Um, but there is no such thing. I think even if you were to Google, you still wouldn't really know the full story. So I think they're too protective. But in saying that, it's a massive PR machine. All I've got to do is say that taking a certain action against a certain area, and people run like cockroaches. And the sky is falling and all these different things. It's like they create because a lot of things, and I've seen this. Google will focus on people that are doing really bad stuff that are well against their rules. And there's also two things happen out of that. There's people that get caught up in maybe not, and I've seen these in forums, right? My website's rankings tanked, um, and even there's plenty of news stories around sites that have done everything right, and they've also been punished as well. So that PR machine that is Google is huge, and really powerful. But I tend to ignore quite a bit of news. I don't really get into the news because it's very sensational and it creates fear too when where there isn't. So it's 10 past on my time. So we'll get started. This is probably going to run for 30 to 40 minutes. Be open for any questions near the end. And you're going to see the behind the scenes view of what I've been working on for the last month. Just double check we are recording it. Yes, we are. Okay, I'll have to edit that later. Okay, so let's get into it. So the overview of backlinks. Now, this is where things change. So we're going from SEO to actually how to rank in Google. And some of the things, now we've covered a lot of in lessons, we've covered keyword research, we've covered errors, we've covered uh, structure, we've covered all those base area items of what Google wants, and that's the SEO side of it. But this is different. When once you've done, and think about it this way, right? If you've got, and I know a couple of people had their websites, they put it through several tools and it scored at 100%, and it gave them the perfect uh, result. Now, if it was just that easy, those are elements you can control, right? You can control what you do on your website. You control how it lays out, and that's really easy to what's the word I'm looking for? Feel a sense of achievement by getting a high score on your website by fixing errors. But those are all things that are in your control. And the thing about marketing is it's what you put out into the marketplace, into the world, which actually decides whether it works or not. Um, that's what I want to jump into now. So we've covered the first half, all those different areas, the tools that I use, um, how you do all those that side of it, and where we're going to move to. So like I said, it takes a change in approach. From where we're going from now, everything you can control on page, all those things, you've got full control. And when you go to a web development company, they quote SEO, right? And that's what they do. All the things that they control, because it's easy for them to do that. By the way, web development companies don't do any keyword research, so be aware of that if you're getting anything done. They don't look at that at all. They take a wild guess and they generate it, and that's about it. But that's not really their role. They're there to design a website. And in saying that, I've got a love-hate relationship with website designers. I think they they need to generate beautiful sites, but they don't need to, it doesn't need to be world breaking. It does need to be very focused on performance. And unfortunately, most of them aren't. And that's a lesson I'm still to upload why that doesn't work either. Let's jump on the next one. So I'm going to tell you right now, when we're changing levels, you cannot succeed without investment. And that means putting some of your own money in to do some of these things because everything you can control right now, you can on your site easy. These next steps, you are going to have to put money in. And that's just the real truth about how it works, especially if you're competing with previously existed sites. And there's some claims out there that content is king and that you should just put up a new page every day and that's all you should do. Maybe 10 years ago, I would have said that, but not now. The simple fact is anybody can put up a new page. And what I'm also noticing is if you look at it from Google's point of view, they are dropping lots of pages. They're dropping pages within even some of the client sites I work on. They'll drop pages off because they can't literally pick up every page that's being created. If you imagine there must be billions of pages created every day. So Google has started to filter them. So this whole content is king statement, which is made years ago, um, I say content is king and queen. The queen really is the links into the site. So sorry guys, we really know the queen rules the kingdom. It's just the way it is, and that's the way I approach it. So even putting up pages specific to subjects, you still need to have those links in some format. Let's jump on the next one. Like I said, if you get your website to 100% perfect following Google's rules, you won't rank. And I'm just being direct with you. And there was a patent. I put this in there to remind myself that a patent that when Google first started, that they generated a patent around links from one site to another. And these are backlinks. They're links to your website. They are links from other sites to you. And the amount of links, the quality of links, um, are always just the process, but this is generally what will make your website rank. So you see what I mean by changing from SEO to what actually will rank your self work. And I think it gets quite confused where people talk about SEO, but they actually don't know what the part is. And look, if your website has been up 10 years and you've got 100,000 pages, yeah, you probably do fantastic on just doing your on-page design and fixing that. But anything less than that, you're going to struggle. And I think most of us on this call will be in that group. So firstly, you'll need software. Now, Ahrefs is the one I recommend. The reason why I recommend that is they have the ability to look at other people's websites and see where the links have been made. So, and where they've come from. And the simple fact is you can, take your competitors, you can look at the pages that are up already ranking, and Ahrefs has a linked database in behind it. Other tools, especially SEO ranking, which I was talked about previously, they have it too. But what happens is when you go and look at the links that they say exist and you get to the page, they're actually not there. Um, and that's for me, that's frustration. Um, so, hey, Dragon, nice for you to jump in. Hey, so that's frustration. I'm just talking about Ahrefs, and it has the biggest linked database. And Ahrefs has actually been around longer than most other tools. I think they were before SEMrush. SEMrush is the other key tool. To be honest, I don't like it. It is really hard to master. Ahrefs is very clean. I don't make any money out of it by referring Ahrefs. I just think it's a great tool and is the easiest to use. And now that they've come out with a lower level plan, there's a $29 a month plan instead of it's more focused on agencies, more than the $139 plan. And most of you at the $29 plan mean more than enough. Um, like I said, Ahrefs is designed for agencies, and it's been around longer than I've been online. It's one of the real backbone of SEO tools. So, like I said, and I'll just bring it up. This is the time that you need to actually invest in tools that will help you. A simple rule to rank in Google: what they do what they do. So I'm going to reflect back to an event I went back to a few years ago, and I may have mentioned this already. So if you want to rank for a particular term, go and find the sites that are already ranking above you and reverse engineer what they've done. And you will learn a lot about them, a lot about how they got there, a lot about how they got their backlinks, and you can follow links to actually get places to link your website from what's already up there. To me, that's evidence, right? It's like evidence of a crime, if you want to put it that way. They are up there, they're showing up there. And I did also reference a tool which I've been in the group, which I'll add to it again after this, the keyword.com tool, which for if you're in another country, it makes a real key point that you can actually see the ranking pages in another country really easily. And it'll do all that for you. And it's got a free level too. So I've been testing that out over the last couple of months. It's been more reliable than SE ranking, which I talked about previously, more cost effective and is really fast. And I think I've already posted the call that I did with them, the guys at keyword.com. But I will drop that one up in later too. So let's get further. So the past. If I said to you 10 years ago, this is what I told you how to rank in Google. I say, make your website around black cats and then get links that link to your website that say black cats. Black cats in the underlying text. But the update that I've shown in the last 2 weeks and when I've tested, it doesn't work like that anymore. And I think that this has come about by Google has basically changed it because the way people were gaming the system before. And to jump into the test very quickly, simple fact is if you have text that points to your website that says black cats, your website will go down, not up. I know that's illogical, but that's what we've tested in the last couple of weeks. And I always thought Google was going to get this way. They're so smart now that they know what your website is about. You don't need to tell them. And this is only just week. This, like I said, just last week, this has been tested. Um, so I don't think anybody else has actually done anything like this before. I actually did a test on an agency website, and how what came out of it was the proof. Um, so the content problem, and I've also seen this too. Blog articles in behind client aids getting almost no traffic. Literally one of the clients I'm working with last week, I think the 50 or so blog articles that he had on the site, I think they got 100 visitors in the last 12 months. That's the other area that Google's not picking up all that content as well. And within the site, people aren't making those articles a priority. They're just being told they need to have content. And I did a review of a site this week where the blog was set up completely wrong, was providing no value to the rest of the site as well. It was just 100%, a waste of time. And you can check that review that I did for someone in New York. So links increase, excuse my words, domain authority. Now, domain authority is a ranking from 0 to 100, and domain authority is something that it's actually changed. This is something as a term that's been created. There was what used to be called PageRank, which is basically the same thing, but you can't see PageRank anymore. Google used to allow you to see PageRank, but they took the tool down. It's still there, and I believe this domain authority has replaced it, but the name has changed. It's come through an outside authority. But this is how powerful your site is. And the higher your domain authority, the more likely you are going to rank for more and more website terms. And this is why you see news sites, they have high domain authority, they rank for a lot of things that they shouldn't, but they do anyway, because they have a high domain authority. Now, let's say, for example, your domain authority is 5, for example. If you have a website that has a domain authority of 20 and it links to your website, it shares the domain authority to you. And that's how your domain authority or DA increases. And that's what it's talking about. And you'll see this everywhere. People wanting links from other high domain authority sites to link to you to increase your importance. And that's where domain authority came in. It's also, it came out of, it's been sourced by Ahrefs, I think this particular term, but there's several different variations. Ahrefs does allow you to, if you do a search after this, you can check your own domain authority too. Here we go. And that's what it is. Here's Ahrefs. I put the screenshot in there from Ahrefs and talking about they use DA or DR, whichever reference is the same thing. It's pretty much the same meaning. There's a few other terms like RD, which I actually don't even know what it means, but it's the same model. And it still allows you to check the authority of your site and anybody else. Good question. Domain linking to a less domain authority decrease domain ranking. Short answer, yes, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. It is expected to link to other sites. I wouldn't what I do with any linking out is you can always, I wouldn't never link out from my home page to somewhere else. I'd link out from another page within the site. And while I remember, reciprocal linking, exchanging links Doesn't work anymore. Google saw this through that years ago. I even had someone talking about it yesterday. But yeah, that's something you want to focus on as well. Also, the amount of sites to link to. If you link out for a lot of sites, you're also passing on authority as well. There's ways around that though. Okay, now I'm going to go over this press release test, and will explain this and why it's got a sad face on here because this is what I've been testing over the last 2 months. And that's why I held off doing this presentation because I had a theory, but I needed to test it out to make sure it was right. So the theory was that generating a press release, and big companies do this all the time, they generate a press release. Even a small company can generate a press release. You can go, hey, I'm announcing that I've partnership with XYZ company to get my website redesigned. And I believe that they're going to fantastically design, which will increase my presence in Google. So that's a press release about you making website changes. And like I said, there's nothing to stop you doing that as a term, as a way of getting links. However, if you do a quick search for press release distribution, um, the problem with this model is, and this is what I needed to test, is press release distribution allows your press release to be posted in other places. But instead of actually being posted, it's more of a distribution. So that same press release goes on, you put it in once and it distributes it out to a lot of different places. Now, the problem with that is one, the links that come from many of these news sites that it says it goes to do not pass domain authority. They do not pass any actual value to your website from the links that are created. That's the first thing. The second thing is they are putting the same piece of content in multiple places. Now, if you were Google, would you want to show all the same piece of content, which is in all these different places? There's no value. So it will pop up and it will appear on these sites and then it will disappear because Google realizes the same piece of information is everywhere. And that's what the test did. Now, the test was the complete bomb. It actually had absolutely no increase in ranking, no change, basically no effect at all. And the reason I've got the screenshot in here, and I won't share the site, but this is an actual claim on the site that offers press release distribution. They say you'll rank high in Google. They say that these sites will actually increase your ranking, and they won't. If you have something really newsworthy, it might pop up once, and you may, if you're groundbreaking news, you may get other sites pick it up. But 90% of the time, it has zero effect. But I had to test it, right? I had to spend a little bit of money on my own money to test it out because the theory was there, but I needed to make sure it worked or make sure it didn't work. And in this case, it didn't work. And this is the only way to learn. I think the only way to learn is actually to put it out there. The thing with backlinks too, it's a process where you've got to put it out there and allow Google to catch up. You create a new backlink, and I've had clients say to me, "I've created a new backlink. It should have an effect tomorrow." No. Firstly, the link has to be created. Secondly, then Google has to come through and pick it up. And then thirdly, Google has to then attribute that link to you, and then after that, they update your DA and everything that goes with it. So it's a long process. It's a patient process. And if you remember back to understanding the game, my very first video, this is understanding the game. So let's jump on the next one. So the theory I tested was distribution and duplication. If for distribution by 10 different sites, no, it won't, Ranger. It's a simple because it's still the same press release distribution. And I've still got a few sites I'm checking on, if you have a single press release which is posted on one site, which does have some value, that is a high DA site, then that will have some value. But you have to do an individual one for each one. And I've still got a few links in that I haven't checked yet. So I used a distribution service and it didn't work. But there are some free listings out there which I'm going to put in coming up. But I still have to check them as well. Uh, so let's talk about different types of links. And I've pretty much realized that even talking to outsourcers, many of them don't understand this. Um, so there's three different types of links I'm going to talk about. There's no follow links, there's redirect links, and then there's do follow links. Firstly, I'm going to give the background of where these terms come from because they're quite misleading. So a no follow link was originally created by Google. The simple concept was that they were for advertisers and they are to not pass on value from that website. That's exactly what they no follow is a misleading term. They still follow them and they still find your website, but they don't pass any value on from the website they're linking in. And that's what most of these press release sites do. Now, redirect links, these ones are a little bit harder to pick up, but you can create links in certain places that instead of linking to you, they actually go to a redirect page within the site and then they go out. So they redirect from their site and out. Now, the jury's still out of whether there's any value in there. Um, my thought is it's not worth the work, but it's still a redirect. And like talking to an outsourcer this week, he was saying that these were links, and I went, no, they're redirects. They're not actual links. Now, do follow link. A do follow passes authority. It passes the DA from the domain it's on and is the most value. It's just a simple straight link with no specification on it. So those are the three different types. I will do a no and the no follow links and redirect links. Those are the same ones that are on you'll see on YouTube listings. You'll see the same ones on social media. They're all redirects and no follow links. They're not going to pass any value. Now, I'm saying that I would say I get asked this quite a lot. That do links from social media help your Google ranking? Directly, no, they don't. In the big picture of you looking more authoritative, yes, they do. But it's not a direct, this helps me rank. It's more of a, this helps your authority in the marketplace because you have social media. So we'll put that one off the table as well. All right, so this leads into a special announcement. So I've literally just launched Digital Marketing Mastery, and it's going to be the results of the tests that I've been running. So after the last 2, 3 months, I still have new tests coming in. I'm actually also testing right now and linking and ranking my school site, my school page listed in school itself. And I'm also, actually, I didn't have this written down. I'm testing whether you can link external pages, such as, for example, a page on LinkedIn, where you then leverage that page to rank for you. You leverage their authority to actually rank. That's a new test that I'm still running. So it's not just SEO anymore. And the reason I've gone this way is SEO is constantly changing. It's long, it's slow. It should be only it should be part of your marketing, but it's the long game. When I work with clients, I really recommend that they do paid ads, that they have social, and they have also um, social and Google Ads allows you to confirm keywords. If you've done my keyword research module, you'll see how I talked about that. So it's all about having the whole marketing strategy, the social, the Google Ads. Now, as part of Digital Marketing Master, you also get Google Ads management for 3 months. And that's with some conditions, but you have to find out about that in the membership. But I will manage your ads because I also see it done wrong. I'm also going to upload a course where you can do it yourself as well. I have a totally different approach than any other marketing agency, any other course that's also in school as well. If you're in there, I have a totally different approach because I'm looking round it. So AI testing. So here's another thing I've been testing over the last month, which is really interesting. AI testing is, it's not all really scary stuff. You don't need to have a technical background to understand it. I ran a content test recently, and it's got some really interesting results. I also caught a YouTuber out by what he said and what actually happened, and that was really interesting. He straight out lied. Well, I won't say he lied. I'll say that what he said worked for 5 minutes, and after that, it didn't work. So but he didn't necessarily share that. I used some of my tools to find out what he'd done. So the content testing, and that's what I've also been testing as well. And I've also literally have only generated new tests yesterday, but it's looking quite promising. And you don't need to be scared of AI. I walk you through the how I did it and what I did and the tools that I use. Every month, I'm going to give you a list of pre-vetted links that you can apply. The biggest challenge with link building is actually getting it done. So every month, I'm going to generate a list of pre-vetted links, which I've gone and checked. 90% of these links, 90% of other links where people say a link, you can get them, they weren't working. I spent a really late night last night checking through some of them, and they're just a waste of your time. Um, there is a waste of they're not going to bring you any value. And I'm really keen on spending your time and your effort where you're going to get the most value. And I also do this. This is from a beginner's point of view. Got a brand new website. Let's just show you where you can go and get started. Because I notice a lot of people in here are brand new. So yes, I will go on to some advanced link building, but I'll also go on to showing you the basics to get you started. And testing. Every month, you'll get my inside edge on what I've been testing on. And hint, you're getting expensive, high agency advice, what I'm testing in behind the scenes. I've only shared this with the other people that I'm working with at the agency level. And I actually, I've got a video which I actually haven't put up yet, but it shows the actual results that came from it. And is controversial, quite controversial. Um, that what I am testing and actual the effect from it. And I'm using my own money. I'm going off and testing these things my own way so that I know that they actually work before I pass it on to others. But making it simple, getting a list of pre-vetted links, go, okay, month one, here I need to do, here's links I can get. These ones are all clear. They're really easy and simple, and I can get started. Increase conversion. So a lot of times I see people focusing on just getting website ranking. But if you can get 100 people there and 10 people to take action, then that's better than getting 1,000 people there and getting 10 people to take action. So like I said, I get the love-hate relationship with web designers. They literally, um, they literally are great at what they do, but they don't understand what I do. And that's pretty obvious, even at a high design level, even at an expensive level. That people spend thousands and thousands of people on websites. And I'll actually also refer you to the website designer which I use. He's got an interesting response. If you want a new website, he'll instead of making a high payment up front, he'll spread it out for you so you can spread it out over time. Buying power. So I've already had one response here that you see on the screen. As a group, you have group buying power. And that means if someone wants a tool, people in the group want to get access to a tool, there's two things I can do. One, I can approach the founder and say, hey, I've got a group of people that want to buy it. What's the point? What's the chance of getting a discount? And also, I can go and test it at the same time and report what actually works out of it, the plus, the minus. And in the same time, actually, I didn't put this in here. If you're looking at business models and how you're going to do things, I can also put you in the right direction too. So I'm looking to have. I've tried just about every business model out there in some form. So it's not just about SEO, it's actually about getting the results for what you do, looking at your business model, seeing if it'll even work. And I'll tell you the plus and minuses. I've got a video coming out next week on drop shipping. because I've been down that path, and there's a lot of things that people don't talk about it. So I also share my test site and the tests I am running. I show you what I've been testing behind the scenes, and it's, to be honest, it's a site which is not pretty, but the point is I'm testing the data, I'm testing the things out on my own site, and I'm also going to include the one-on-one website reviews. Now, I've done some website reviews already in the group. That's from the outside, right? That's a view from the outside, and that's opinion from my end on what I can see. This will be a review from the inside as well. So analytics, ads, everything. And I charge $300 to do that, but you won't have to pay that. Audit software. So this is something I stumbled across recently. I recommended SE ranking, mainly for the link building, but I've got some audit software which is 100% to use for free. Um, I won't go into how I got it, but that's another story. But like the software that I use, that agencies use, runs around about $150 a year and recurs. This won't have any cost to it at all, and you'll be able to use it and run it across your site. Very simple to use, very easy to use, and it's 100% free. You'll never have to pay for it. Now, in development, so this is one thing I really put together recently. Um, you need to understand what's going on with your website, but the GA4, even for me and analytics and what's going on, it's really complicated. They've made it really hard. So I'm working on some dashboard management software, which allows you to understand what's going on, but not have to dig for the information, not have to go and actual, work out where things are. You have a dashboard which says, oh, okay, I know how many people came to my website, I know where they came from, I know what's going on. And that'll be something you can use forever, especially if you're running ads. If you think about running ads in the future, or you're running ads for someone else, you can actually use this to make sure you're getting them results. And all of these things could be turned into an agency. If you wanted to run ads for clients, or if you wanted to um, bring a client in and me act in the background, I will do that as well. To simple fact, this is going to be all for $35 a month. And I'm going to give you a free 7-day free trial so you can go and test it. Or you could pay $297 a year and save yourself 30%. And it's at the bottom there. You see the link is justpauleaston.com/master. And it comes with a 100% money back guarantee. I call it the love it or shove it guarantee. Go and help yourself. Um, Now, I will admit, right now, there's only a few pieces of information in there. Over the next 7 days or next 5 days, there's 5 new pieces of content which are sitting here that are being tested, which will go in over the next 5 days. And one of them particularly got me 25 links in less than 24 hours. So that's what I offer. I'll even show you as well. I've just put this in there as well, how I made these graphics as well for free as well. So that ends this session. There's a quick look. This is how early you guys are in. I haven't even had a chance to put any sexy graphics up yet. This is the inside area. It's very sparse at the moment, like I said, but it's going to be added to um, right after this next 5 days. Um, there will be new sections, new testing coming through. I have a test finishing on the 21st of this month. Um, and I'm testing out a lot of stuff that even over the last year, less than a year, these are things that I've been testing over the last year. So you're not getting stuff that's 10 years old. You're getting stuff that I am testing out from behind the scenes. Um, Now, last thing, has anybody got any questions about this? And I'll just drop this link in the group here too. Second.
Uh, Hey Paul, Ranjit here. I just had a very basic, and I just have an idea about a question or where the industry is going. Since the marketing is diverting in many ways, I was thinking of if we can uh, create a link to an image. For example, the social media, Instagram and YouTube are making more of less seconds video, like 8 to 10 seconds video, in
Hmm.
which a person obtains the information of 10 minutes video in just 8 to 10 seconds. Okay, what if the next stage could be a image where you can get all the information? So is there any way that we can possibly create a backlink for it? I know it's a hypothetical, but just asking.
From images, yes. That's actually, I'll write that down and add this in. Uh, from images, yes, and actually I will add that into the training as well. You can do it, but I also don't think so. You're going straight from any social media. Any social media is not going to allow you to link and pass value. So it's one of those things which um, it will work, but it won't give you what you're after, unfortunately. Look, I do recommend social media. I actually am pushing into YouTube as well. Like I said, and let me grab this link first. Um, where it's going is definitely going that way. But I think that anything in social media is not going to pass value. Now, I use a tool, I've always profiled this tool for tracking called Foxley ME. Let me just double check it. I think I've put it in. Because the best thing about digital marketing is you can track everything, right? You can track anything and everything. And you'll see actually the link that I've got in there is tracked as well, that I've put in the chat. So you can track anything. So it's a matter of being able to track it through. I can't predict where the industry is going. Um, the I profile several different changes that are going on within the AI industry and around what's going on, but many of these AI tools are linked to search engines, so they're going to still allow um, the same method will happen when someone does a search in AI. It'll still bring up search engine results, so it's still pulling from those results. And I did a test recently this week around a couple of two new services that have built in um, search into. They've now taken their chat version or the AI version to actually integrate with a search version. So it does access the web at the same time. So that's where it's going. But I can't predict the future, and no one can as far as AI. I think the model in general won't change. I just think we'll see more AI results coming through. And like I said, I can't predict where this AI thing is going to, um, but it's going to be a benefit in the future. I think there's also you can only deal with what is going on now. What could change in the future, no one knows. That's the different point. There could be a new search engine come out tomorrow, and Google could be redundant completely. I don't think it'll happen because they've got too much of the market, but that could be there too. So image linking is definitely a thing. Actually, like I've written it down to profile it more because I haven't done it enough. I've seen another case study I saw a while ago where a tool was given away from a website and they got punished after a while because they did it the wrong way. And that's what I'm seeing happen as well. You don't need to ram it down Google's throat. They know what your website is about. They know how, what the subject and what the content is about. They're smarter than that. They're also, like I said earlier, they're worried about the big players that are doing black hat stuff, that are doing stuff that's against terms of service, that big stuff. A lot of the smaller stuff, they're not fussed about because it's not enough benefit. If it's $1 billion company, they're going to worry about the big stuff that's going to have a massive um, massive effect on their results. And um, the way I look at it is you got to do a lot of the good stuff, and then you can skirt around the edges with some of the other stuff. And that's what I see other people doing as well. So, there's a lot of different ways you can take this. I don't think this is going to change your future, but key event I'd like you to take away as well too, is never have a stool with one leg. SEO is only one point. I'm going to venture into email marketing. I've seen that done badly at so-called professional companies. So, yes, anybody else got any more questions?
Yeah, I had a quick question about the you mentioned that going back to your earlier point that blog posts are not getting traffic. There's a content problem. Can you elaborate just a little bit more on what you think is causing that? Do you think it's because like AI is writing a lot of content and so it's coming off generic and search engines are kind of dinging that, or do you think it's something else, or do you think that trend will reverse, or just any more thoughts on that topic?
I think it's because I think AI maybe is having a little effect, but Google hasn't said outright that AI is bad. They have implied that if you use too much of it, then you're literally, you know, throwing content which is not usable to people. And when it's not usable content, um, then it's of no value to the users. Always looking at what Google's end is. The second thing is I see it's very easy to put up new content, right? So anybody and everybody can put up new content. Google can only take in what it sees as the most valuable content. And that's where the links come in, is that's the voting mechanism about around your content. So those two things are happening. There's too much content being put out there. It's too easy to put out there. And then Google's deciding, no, there's too much of the same thing. We'll drop pages that don't have the value. I also discover in my lessons on internal link structure, that's the next test I'm doing on a client site this week. I believe that they don't uh, they don't within the site show the blog articles to be important enough. And I'm not talking about linking to it from the homepage. I'm talking about the internal link structure as well. So you've got to look at how they do this internally. And like I said, I'm working with a client this week, this next month, on how we can possibly boost the internal strength of their articles as well. Um, I'm working out that Google is they're seeing they're seeing how you do things, and they see people throwing content up there for the purpose of putting content up there. That's what's happening. Um, and a lot of these, particularly companies that work with agencies put up a lot of content because the client likes to see content put up there, makes them feel good, it makes them see something. So that's where I believe it's going. Um, Look, Seth Godin, who's a marketing master and has been for years, he talked about content, put it up. The one thing he didn't mention at the same time is he produces books and does PR. So all his content gets lots of links, lots of books that are created. He gets lots of traffic from that. He says you should put up an article and just forget it. I don't believe that's going to work anymore. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. So if anybody hasn't got anything anymore, so I'm going to shut this off in the next few minutes.
All
Oh, yeah,
one more.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, as you will be having, you'll be taking a session on drop shipping as well. Could you just include one more point, like how much percentage of the conversion happens through the email marketing? For example, if I get a hoodie ad from a drop shipping website whom I'm subscribed to, how much, like, what are the chances of the percentage that I am able to purchase that hoodie from the Gmail itself? Is it happening now, or like it?
So say that again. You're going to get a free ad from of a site, and how much actually will convert from the ad? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Are you talking about like say for example, a Google ad or just an actual ad on another site?
Uh, a ad from no, not like normal marketing mails that we get. For example, if I subscribe to a drop shipping website, if there are new launches, they will send me an ad and there would be a link to buy them.
There's a lot of elements in there uh, to unpack. Um, Conversion and getting links from getting ads on other places. It depends on what they come in. I generally approach it with an open mind and track it. It's the only one you can do. And like I said, I use Foxley. I'll just bring up the link. Like my test, foxleyme.com. I think I've already linked to it in the group as well. That allows you to track. It's a paid service, but it's a one-time paid service. You don't pay again. Um, I don't use Bitly, by the way. I don't like Bitly links because I think they they give a bad impression. I actually use my own domain, like I'm using justpauleaston.com/master, and that's my own domain. I'm using links. So track it. And if you're paying for something, track where it's coming from. And that's why I'm creating the dashboard as well. The dashboard will tell you where your leads come through. And then conversion is another element. The drop shipping model is quite flawed. It's quite pitched out there for what it is. And it's a lot of elements are wrong. And actually, I won't go too far into that because, like, I think people don't understand what they're getting into. They do it just for marketing. And then I'll tell you one thing before I leave because I'm going to run out of time. Running all paid ads and all these different things they're easy to set up and they're fast, right? I can set up a Facebook ad in half an hour and it's running. Conversion is where the gold is. Knowing what converts and tracking all those things is where the gold is. So should I arrange it? If you can track it some way, I'll run a session on UTM tracking, which you can do as well. I will put that in the free group. It's understanding what UTM tracking is and how you can do it. And I'll put those both in the free group for all of you anyway. So yeah, have a theory. Work out your question should be, how can I track this? And then the results from that tell you the truth. That's the way I try to approach it. I try not to, I have a theory or opinion. And so I'll give you a quick example before I run out of time. I'm running a client Facebook campaign for a free event. He wanted complimentary tickets and not use the word term free. I said, okay, let's test it. 24 hours later, it wasn't working. We're now testing free as a term. So that's the sort of thing is you have to go in with the principle of I have an opinion. How am I going to track this marketing? Then what came out of that? That's the only way that you can really become a master marketer. And a lot of things aren't going to work. Like my test, right? My test was a theory, and I proved my theory, and I probably spent a couple of $100 to test it out. But I learned from it, and now I know where to spend my efforts in the future. I hope that answers your question. Um, the master group will have all the results of a test, like I'm sharing within my group, on my site, the testing I'm doing. You get a discount if you pay for a year, 30% discount if that's you. If you're interested in working with me for clients, talk to me about that. If you've got a client or someone comes to you for wanting things, let's talk. Let's jump on a call and see if I could, sit in the back end, provide what you're doing. And let's see how that fits. Right. I've run out of time. Hey, thanks guys for coming. I hope you've got something out of this. Will be recorded and it will be in the group probably on Monday. Actually, because I'll be updating the content. Like I said, I haven't got anything, any new stuff for the group in here. This is all to be updated. It's all my first things. I had a late night putting this up to get in the group last night. And as of Monday, every day there'll be a new one going in here, and new content going in. And it'll all be testing stuff that I've found the results. Many things that you will not find anywhere else. Right, gotta go. Thanks very much, and I hope you've got something out of it, and I'll drop the recording in the group. Bye all.